Hey, welcome back to another episode of Open Shutter. What is it today? Tuesday? Tuesday. And I have the pleasure of welcoming a local creator, Nika, to the program. So huge thanks to Nika for coming on. So thanks for taking the time to do this thing.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me,
Yeah,
and thanks for having me, for sure.
my pleasure. My pleasure. How was your summer?
I was working most of the summer this summer. Yeah, taking vacation on Saturday.
You took
So,
vacation on Saturday.
yeah, this coming Saturday, I'm flying to Turkey
Are you
for
going to
1
Turkey
week.
this Saturday?
Yeah,
Huh, for how long?
a week.
Nice. And where in Turkey?
I'm going to Istanbul, Cappadocia.
Oh, you can do the parachute thing? The hot air balloon
No,
thing?
I'm not. I'm actually like a little scared of it. Like,
Really? Because
I'll
that's
look
like the
at
thing to
it.
do there, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
According to Instagram. I don't know. I'm just going off what I saw on Instagram.
Yeah, I'll observe them from the
You're gonna
ground.
observe them, eh?
Yeah.
Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. So I'll meet my family there.
Beautiful.
But yeah, the summer was just kind of a lot of working,
Yeah.
filming, traveling around Ontario actually.
Okay.
So
Where'd you go in Ontario?
to a lot of places. It started with Windsor,
Okay. So
went
you
to
went west
Sudbury, Sault Ste.
and you went
Marie.
north. Okay.
Yeah, like everywhere.
Well,
Durham.
okay.
Just today I was in Alliston.
Yeah, I've been
Yeah.
there. And you did that for work?
I do that for work, yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Cool.
so I go film. Um, so yeah, that's what I did. So I can't wait for a bit of a time off.
You're not taking the camera with you on the trip?
I will for sure.
You're gonna be making stuff, but you're making stuff for you. It's different.
Yeah, it's more fun. Someone said I should like film like with a drone in Cappadocia, but I'm
Yeah,
like
you
too scared. I'm gonna fly into a balloon.
think so? No. Well,
People do.
if you can't get on the hot air balloon, then maybe fly the drone or something. Well, at
Yeah,
least you'd be making stuff for yourself, for some fun, right? We're just chatting offline about the difference between making stuff for you and making stuff for other people. Like even though it's like what you like to do, there's a difference when you do stuff for clients because it's not really yours anymore. It's kind of their stuff. So
yeah. I think like when you do stuff for yourself, like especially with me, especially when I go and travel, I
yeah,
always kind of look at the world through the camera in some way.
right.
So I don't know. It's like a way of observing and learning about the places I go to.
Mm.
Whereas when I do stuff for clients, there's like the story happening inside.
Yeah, you're
What's
always
the
thinking about like
plan?
other stuff,
Yeah,
the angle, the lighting,
yeah,
making
technicality.
sure you press record.
I know. Yes. Are the
People have been,
batteries charged?
yeah, battery charge. Am I on 24 frames or 120? Like, what am I? Yeah, you're always thinking about other things versus just kind of like experiencing the moment kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. So what made you want to like get into this crazy world that like in like the first place?
So yeah, it's kind of. Um, I think when I was like really young, I wanted
Hmm,
to be a photographer.
nice.
But then for some reason, I decided to. Uh, wait, are you still here?
Yep.
Okay. So for some reason, I kind of decided that I'm gonna pursue like a different education, and I ended up working in a completely different industry, in hotels and hospitality for quite a while. Like
Yeah.
I think 8 years or something like that.
Okay.
And I think through the process of working in hotels, I realized that that's not really what I want to do my entire
Mm,
life. And at that point, I kind of decided that I'll study and I'll start kind of working on the like more creative work.
yeah.
And that's how I got into it. So I was
Wow.
at the time I was kind of in the UK. I was studying there. and I started freelancing there, and I got a couple of jobs, clients, and stuff like that, and then I moved here.
Oh,
Yeah, in 2015, I moved to Toronto. And what happened is that I thought that I'll just kind of jump in and start freelancing, but it
yeah.
wasn't the case.
Here.
Yeah. So I kind of started fresh here.
Oh. So like back in like the UK, like how'd you even make that transition between the hotel and like the freelance? Like how did you like teach yourself the
Uh,
skills?
it was like a lot of juggling. It was like working in a hotel still, but like doing
Yeah.
stuff on the side. Uh, and then I started doing some personal projects. I was applying to like all sorts of like jobs or projects or whatever I could find. I do like to create, so I always thought of random projects and I would kind
Yeah.
of just pursue them.
Yeah. For you,
Um,
you mean?
yeah, just
Projects for you. Yeah.
for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would do that, and then I guess through that I learned.
You learned how to like the
I
camera, how to operate the camera, how to edit video, how to edit photo.
Yeah, how to
Mm.
uh, I guess get better at it in a way.
Yeah.
Um,
I know that's how I learned
we
too.
always
You
yeah
just do. Like people always ask me like what like how should I learn photo and video? I'm like just start making stuff and just keep
yeah
going because you're
exactly.
gonna learn as you go. I think that's a great thing about like being in this space is that you don't really have to go to school. Like you just kind of if you really have a genuine curiosity about it, then you can just teach yourself.
You
Really, you
can,
can
and I think.
really, you know.
Oh, sorry.
Go
I
ahead.
do think that sometimes it's better to have like a different type of education and a
Yeah,
different
yeah,
background, and
right,
then get into photography or video,
right,
because then that interest sort of
yeah,
is reflected in your work.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
think it's good, actually. It's sometimes better.
Well, I think you can also learn stuff from like even like did you learn anything from working in like the hotels like that you applied to like your business? Like, either like working with management or working with like customers, like were you able to like take stuff from there and apply it to like your work now?
Yeah, I
You know what
think,
I mean?
yeah, definitely working with customers.
Yeah.
Um, I would say just sort of handling stress,
Mm.
like that.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by a stress? I don't know what that means.
Yeah,
Isn't everything supposed to be like just like sunshine and
easy.
rainbows?
Yeah.
I'm living my dream life.
Yeah. I think working in hotels, because I was working
Yeah,
in the UK,
yeah,
the hotels are so busy. It's like
right.
just crazy busy that almost whatever I did afterwards uh, was never as stressful as that.
Mm,
So I would say like shooting a wedding
right,
and
right.
working on a really busy day at reception is probably like similar.
Yeah, yeah, interesting. And where in the UK were you?
In London.
London?
Yeah. So
Nice.
yeah,
Interesting, interesting. Well, aren't you glad you made the switch? It worked out though, no?
it did. Yeah, I
Yeah,
really like it here. At that point when I was there, so I was there for 8 years. I'm from Slovenia originally, so I
yeah,
moved to the UK. Was there for 8 years, and
yeah.
then at that point, I don't know. I was just ready for a, a more relaxed lifestyle.
Mhm.
Which, if you say that to anyone from Toronto, they
Yeah,
laugh.
yeah. Interesting.
But like in Toronto, I kind of walk to work or walk
Right.
to wherever I need to walk.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just there's less people. It's just more manageable.
We're interested less people here
Mhm.
versus the U versus London. I guess there would be.
Yeah, but more
Interesting.
traffic.
Yeah,
Way more traffic. Way more traffic.
it's never gonna end. It's never gonna so there's always like there's gonna be more traffic. Just wait till like the World Cup gets here.
Oh my god, yeah,
Just
I
wait till
know.
then. You haven't seen traffic until then. Let me
Yeah,
tell
it's
you. Let me tell you. Well, that's great. I'm glad you made the switch.
yeah.
So what would you say is like your niche now then?
That's a good question. I
Yeah.
don't
Or
think
do
I
you
have
have one?
one.
Yeah.
I think I'm kind of getting, like I'm slowly shifting into one, I would say.
Okay.
Um, I think I always like to work on personal projects, whatever they are, and I do everything. Like I did a short film with a
Watch that.
couple
It's
of
very
friends.
good. The tennis one?
Oh, yeah, that was just a recent one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I did
very good.
another like short film
Yeah.
2 years ago
Yeah.
with friends. We did like a short documentary. So these are kind of
Beautiful.
like personal projects,
Beautiful.
and I always like doing this type of stuff.
So important to keep those too,
It is,
the
yeah.
personal
It kind of,
projects. Because without those, then I think the stuff that I'll just speak from personal experience. If I didn't do personal projects, the stuff I do just becomes work. It just becomes a job.
yes,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like you kind of lose the spark a
You
little bit,
do, yeah. Because like I do have like I have a full-time job,
Yeah.
so I work for a big utility company.
Yeah.
So I do video editing and
Yeah.
photography,
Yeah.
and like the projects are very diverse. So in that sense, it's not your usual corporate job. I would say you
Right.
have everything from like talking heads to
Yeah.
community investment projects to events and
Right.
whatever.
Right.
So in that sense, it's very varied, but it
Yeah.
is like a 8 to 5 kind of job. So the
Sure.
light is always shit. you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. You want the
when
golden hour. You want the golden hour.
exactly, yeah. So the personal projects come in the golden hour.
Ah,
you know, you want to be kind of inspired by what you're filming or like taking photos of, and I think that's
yeah.
what doesn't always happen in the corporate job because everything's so kind of
Yeah.
controlled or
Yeah.
rushed or
Yeah. Well, you're like told what to do in a way,
exactly.
unless people ask for, I would, for me, it's like if you're like the lead on this, like people, you should be the boss. It's like I'm making this thing. This is how it should be.
Yeah,
This is gonna look better. This is
it,
gonna sound
it
better.
probably
This is,
would. Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like I'm doing this thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right. That's why on film sets there's always like a DP and all that, right? Because like I'm like, do you want this angle? Trust me on this one. That's not
yeah.
always the case, especially in like corporate stuff, I guess. Say like it's more very like
It's very structured. I think
yeah,
creativity is probably less important, but I
right,
guess the message you're communicating is more important. And
right.
then, as soon as you start kind of um, creating creating a video around the message,
Yeah,
then
yeah, I
obviously
like that.
you lose the creativity.
Right. I like that. I like that angle. That's more about the message than the actual like art about it. That's cool. Never thought about it that way.
Yeah, oh, there.
Yeah. Because companies want their message out there like really crystal clear.
Yeah, that's like, and if you miss it, you'll have to
Right.
reshoot it just to put it
Yeah.
in.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
like I think it's a different purpose. Like the videos have different purpose. Like it's
Yeah.
to inform or
Mm,
to spread
right.
awareness
Right, right.
or whatever else, right? Whereas your personal projects are to inspire,
Mm. I was just gonna
uh,
say that.
yeah,
I'm
to
just gonna say that.
uh,
I really like the tennis one. I thought it was really well done.
yeah. Thank you. Thanks so
It
much.
was really well done. How'd you get that idea?
So I really, really like tennis. So I'm like slightly obsessed.
Nice. Okay. Did you go
I'm
to the
not.
tennis here in August when it was here at
I
York
did, yeah,
University?
yeah.
Who'd you see when you went?
Oh my god, a lot of them.
Yeah.
Like the one person that comes to mind is Dart, because she
Yeah.
had cramps, so they had to take her off the court. So that
Oh.
was pretty dramatic.
Huh.
Pegula, who was in U.S. Open finals right now,
Yeah.
I saw her.
Cool. Cool.
I don't know, like a lot.
Nice.
Taylor Townsend,
Yeah.
uh, Andreeva.
Nice.
Yeah, a lot.
Fun,
And
eh?
Kasatkina. Hmm?
It's fun, eh, to go?
Oh yeah, I love it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I went to Montreal last year
Nice.
and Miami. So yeah, slightly obsessed. Like I said,
Nice. Are you planning to go to the US Open too?
I
Yeah.
would like to go maybe next year. Yeah,
Yeah, I think that'd be a nice trip. New York, late summer,
yeah,
great photo, great video, good
exactly.
trip, eh?
Yeah, so I guess I got into watching tennis a couple of years ago and got really into it. And then I think what interests me about it is that it's almost like life.
Yeah.
In one match, you get, the beginning, you get a lot of ups and downs.
Mm,
You have problems you need to solve. You can either give up or
right.
you can like push through it. And then at the end, like the match kind of ends.
Yeah.
And I think like every time I watch a match, that's kind of how I watch it and how I
Cool.
sort of perceive it, I
Mm,
suppose.
mm.
And that was the video. Like it's really short, but that's sort of what I wanted to communicate.
No, it's well done. How long did it take you to make that
Not that
from like start to finish?
we. So a friend of mine connected me to Zaman. He's
Yeah.
the tennis player.
Yeah.
So it took me a very long time to get in touch with him just because I was super busy. Then I got in touch with him and we kind of discussed what we can do. And then I wrote the script. I sent it to him. He was okay with it.
Nice.
I was trying to find a tennis court, but
Right.
like most blue tennis courts are clubs,
Right.
so you can normally rent it during the week,
Okay.
which is when he was working. But then he suggested this particular tennis court that's more like it's a private tennis court,
Yeah.
which was really nice of him actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then we set a day and we just kind of filmed it in a couple of hours,
Not bad.
like 4 or 5 hours. Yeah.
Not bad.
And then we kind of, I also took like photos, like there's some photos in the video that are
Yeah.
black and white. Those
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
film photos. So I had to use up the film and develop it and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
put that in. And then editing,
Yeah.
couple of days,
It's not bad. It's not bad.
not too bad. Yeah.
It's just you doing it, right? Doing the work.
It was just me this one, yeah. So I didn't really have any lights. It was more just
Natural light.
natural light, yeah.
And you filmed it what, in like the evening or in the morning?
Morning, yeah. So ideally I would start earlier, but we had another person coming, and they wait. What time did we start? I think 9.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a little late. I would like to start at 7, just
Right.
because the light was better. So then by the time the other guy came, the light was really bad. Like it was kind of getting towards 11 or something like that.
Oh no. Yeah.
So at that point, I was kind of struggling a little bit. Yeah, it wasn't easy.
Oh, look at
But
that.
I think like at the end, it kind of worked out.
Yeah, that's great.
So
Like
I
the
think
real.
this is more
Yeah.
kind of like towards midday.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can see the shadow.
There you go. Cool. I really liked it. It was very different.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Do you have any other personal projects lined up?
A couple in the next few months. I think this year I really what is it? I pushed myself, I suppose, to do quite a few shoots.
Yeah.
Just because I wanted to update my portfolio.
Yeah.
And then, like if we go back to the niche you're
Yeah.
asking about, I think I didn't have a niche up to now, and now I kind of want to push in a more sort of lifestyle,
Okay.
sports direction.
Yeah.
So that's sort of the portfolio I'm developing, and these are sort of the personal projects I'm working on.
Cool.
So I did some photo shoots earlier this year that I haven't posted yet. I will. And then I think end of September, in October and November, I'll have like 3 mini projects that I'll kind of film and take photos of,
Oh
and
yeah.
then slowly post to.
Cool. Very exciting.
Yeah,
Who's
it's
like who's like your dream client?
like obviously I really like tennis,
Yeah.
like women's tennis. So
Yeah.
like Women's Tennis Association would be.
Okay.
Yeah,
Pitch them. When you
I
feel
will.
you're ready, just pitch them. You
Just be
never
very
know.
shy. I'm Nika.
You never know. We were just chatting offline about like, sales and like kind of putting yourself out there. Like you never know. Maybe they'll say, hey, maybe we need someone to help out, and maybe you'll be invited on set. And to me, it's like all timing. Like it's just like it just takes one person to say, okay, come on in for a quick chat or whatever. I don't know. What's the worst thing that they
That's
can
true.
say? No,
It's true.
That's the worst thing they can say. It's like, okay, or call us next year or something like that. Call us next year, one of those
Yeah.
things, but
Or nothing at all.
or nothing at all. But to me, it's
Or
like,
maybe it's better.
you know what? Because you've already done like the tennis like short film.
Yeah.
Like to me, it's like we're just chatting offline about like there's so many people out there making content in Toronto. It's like, you send them a message and they're like, you're the 5th person to like DM me today. It's like, who are you? And then you just send them that short film. You don't have to do any talking. It's like, this is what I've done so far. I like to do more of this style for you guys, if that might be of interest, because it's like it's always better to show versus tell, because no one understands. Like really, it's like, okay, your lifestyle, sports, cool, but what do you do? And then you show them that. It's like, okay, I get it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of power to that, because a lot of people don't have that stuff. They just think some people are very lazy too, right? They don't want to make their own reel or their own, deck or whatever. It's like they just think it's going to come because they see that on social media. Well, people are doing it, must be pretty easy to get these jobs. But you've already done the work, so you already have a leg up. So I would totally use something like that, where it's like make like a short film around like the WTA or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, something like that.
Maybe next year around the National Bank Open.
Something, I don't know.
Yeah.
And just make a quick little reel about why you love tennis. Maybe not even about them. Maybe it's like, why do you love tennis? And then send that to them. Like, this is why I like tennis, and this is why I want to work. Because I think that goes a long way. Because it shows people like they take like initiative, right? It's because people have no time these days. Like, who are you? What is it? What is it that you want me to do?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, and also something we kind of spoke about just earlier, about not really having the personality. Like you see the work on social media, or you go to someone's website and you see the work, but you don't really know them.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of goes with that, just bringing the your own personality into your
work. Show them who you are.
Mm-hmm.
I think goes a long way, especially in like the market today, where anybody with a phone thinks that they can make a video, which is true, but there's a difference between making a video for you and making a video for like a company. There's a difference there. So that's why people say gear doesn't matter. Well, gear matters. It depends on what you're doing.
What you're doing with
exactly. Like what do you want to do? You want to shoot like something for like ESPN, or you want to shoot something for YouTube? There's a difference there.
Yeah, but then also in terms of the gear, there's movies that won awards that were filmed on iPhones.
Sure.
So
but have you seen the rig? Have you seen the rig that was attached to the iPhone though? They don't show the rig that was attached to the phone.
They did, like Tangerine, Tangerine.
Yeah.
It's like there wasn't. I guess for those times it was a really good rig. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
They used lenses and everything.
Yeah. I think especially when you're trying to get clients, I think it's always good to like show versus tell, and just use whatever you have to make something quick, something that stands out, something that shows this person that you're trying to pitch your personality, and that will at least get you some attention. Yeah. And not just you. I'm just speaking for people in like general that want to get into like this kind of game, where it's like you need to stand out somehow, and the only way to do that is actually make something that's kind of tailored to that company.
And I think the more you do, the better you get, hopefully.
Of course.
Like, if
Yeah.
you learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
So I guess the more you create, the better you get, the more attention you'll get.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Super important. Super important. Well, I hope you land it.
Thank you.
I
Thank
hope you
you.
land it. I think that'd be super cool.
I'll I'll do it actually.
I think you will. I think you
Yeah,
will.
I'll
I
do
think
it.
you will do it.
Yeah.
No, it's great. I mean, we're just trying to find also about like how to approach clients. So, I mean, for people that want to like pitch people, like, do you have any like tips or tricks that has worked for you in terms of like either like sending someone a DM or approaching someone, even calling someone that like has worked for you to get at least some attention on like the other end?
So yeah, that's sort of something that is always, I think, hard. I think like some people are born like salespeople.
Sure.
I'm not.
Yeah.
So
It's a good thing though, because people don't like salespeople.
yeah, I know,
This
but like
sleazy
when you've
person
done
trying to
so
like get me, it's like they actually like that though.
yeah. I think over the years I've learned that, like at the beginning when I started doing this, I like anywhere I went, I would kind of mention, this is what I'm doing. Oh, look what I'm doing. um,
Yeah.
but I think now I learned to maybe listen and hear what people are saying, and then I think in a like in a natural conversation, especially if it's like face to face, something will come up where you can kind of show what you're doing
Yeah.
without having to force it in the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one way, I guess. Going to networking events or
Yeah.
different like festivals or whatever it
Right.
is, like it really depends what your niche is. Again, like if you want to do food or restaurant videos, then obviously you have restaurants everywhere.
Yeah.
I think it depends what you want to do. That's
Yeah.
how I would approach it.
Right.
If you want to do events, you should go to events. If you want to do weddings, I would say like weddings, word of mouth is quite a big one.
Yeah.
I would say I shot quite a few weddings like way back when I moved here.
Yeah.
And because I didn't know anyone, I was always the second shooter, like because I just moved into the country, like I didn't know any people. I was always the second shooter, and I would say that the first shooter was
Right.
always the person who got the client through
Yeah.
word of mouth.
Yeah.
Like, that was like
Yeah.
90%.
Of course. Yeah.
So that's why I never went into weddings full time.
Right.
No.
But do you like weddings though to shoot?
I did at the time. Like, I think you learn a lot. You learn to make something in a pinch, like and
Yeah.
under very stressful circumstances.
Right.
But to do it as like a full-time income, I
Yeah.
wouldn't, because it's just too stressful.
Yeah. It'd be tough to do it solo.
And solo, yeah.
It'd be tough to do it solo. Yeah.
And if you mess up, like you mess up their day, like it's
There is no redo. There is no take two.
no, yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
So that's one, and then I would say I've had jobs, right? So like I've been working for this company for 2 years. Before that, I worked for another company for like 5 years. That was like a property developer.
Yeah.
So I was doing real estate, and I was doing some videos for them for like different properties or internal videos. And it was like a fun job for me because it was a relatively big company. I got to travel to whatever, New York, DC quite a lot, Montreal.
Nice.
And they had properties there.
Nice.
And that kind of kept me pretty busy. So at that point, I didn't have that many clients at the beginning. And then again, it was more word of mouth because I was doing a lot of real estate. I would get like jobs in real estate. I would know some leasing managers or like just I guess, people in real estate.
Right.
So I would get those jobs. So I never
Interesting. It's all word of
did
mouth, right?
jobs. Yeah, it's mostly word of mouth. Like, or it's also, I would say, I worked as a second shooter
Yeah.
with some photographers or videographers,
Yeah.
and then they wouldn't take the job, so they would pass it on to me.
Right. There you
So
go.
like I would get that too.
Right place, right time.
Yeah. So that's mostly my clients, to be honest.
That's why it's always important to do a good job no matter where you are, because you never know who that person knows.
That, but I also always think, like maybe at the beginning when I started working with clients, I
Yeah.
was stubborn. Like I
Right.
think I brought too much ego in the,
Yeah.
the game, and I wanted to do it this way. And oh my god, why do
Did you
they?
tell them that? Say that it's
Like,
gotta be done this way?
I'd just be angry in the background.
You just be angry?
Yeah. But I think over time I kind of softened up, and I realized that this work is for them.
Yeah.
So like if you
Yeah.
listen to them and hear what they want,
Yeah.
and then execute in that way,
Yeah.
you'll have a very good
Right.
relationship because you're here to help them. I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a job, like at the end of the day, this part, right?
Yeah. Listening, very important.
It is, yeah.
Very rare these days for someone to listen, like actually listen to like what the person is saying. Like, what do you actually want? Someone told me like a good question to ask, like a client, is like, if you're doing a video for them, like what is the problem this video is solving? Because that really narrows it down to like what you're trying to do. I think that was a really good question. Like, okay, that's cool. What problem are you having? Well, we want to get this message out, so we gotta do it this way. Okay.
What is the message of the video? I feel like with video in particular, especially now, everybody wants it.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, so what is this video about? Like, what do you want? Well, I don't know. Just
and they give you this kind of like just like throw up of like this stuff. It's like I'm even more confused now than before. Like I don't know what this is.
But you see, I think this is where my strength is. Like I was kind of thinking a lot about what my strengths are.
Yeah,
like
what
I'm not. Yeah, sorry.
What are your strengths?
I'm
amazing.
I'm amazing. That's
I'm Nika. That's all you gotta know.
Yeah,
I'm here to help.
I think like I don't like in terms of camera work, I don't do anything better than like millions of people.
Right.
Like obviously people like different personality and all that. But I think one thing that I'm good at is translating a very uncreative list of words and putting them in a video. And I think I've had a lot of success with understanding what people want when they start describing a video. I've learned that through obviously trial and error. And I think that's what corporate world also is very good about. Like just listening to like all these different departments and thinking, okay, so how do we incorporate everything they need into this 1 minute video? And what is the best way to do that? So I think I'm a translator.
You're a translator.
That's my strength.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's cool. So how does that go? Like, how do you actually do it though? Like, do you have to get everyone in the same room to like discuss, or like?
I ask questions. Like if I speak to a client, I guess the most important thing is, like I said, why do you need this video? Like, what is this business or whatever it is? What is it about? Like, what are you doing? So I'm kind of asking questions that they know answers to, like business questions, I suppose. This is my business. These are my clients. I want to sell them whatever. And then I normally put together a mood board of some sort of example images or videos and be like, okay, is this sort of the vibe you want?
So you research based on what they tell you.
And then from there, I just do it. No, like I
Interesting.
would get
So
the
you
feed.
actually do like show them like an actual mood board,
I
so
do
so
sometimes,
they can actually
especially.
see it, kind of like going like the show versus tell. You actually show it to them and say, "Is this what you're looking for?" Kind of thing.
I do. If I don't know the client, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Like in this
cool.
like corporate job that I do,
Yeah,
I'm so involved in day to day that I know like so many things from
yeah,
different departments,
yeah.
and I do have like the opportunity to meet so many different lines of businesses just by the nature of my job.
Mm,
It's a huge company. It's like 10,000 employees.
mm,
So you get to sort of really learn about the company, so you know how to obviously communicate these
right,
things.
right.
Whereas with a client that you've never met, like, that's way harder. And in that case, I would go with mood board.
Huh.
Um, Maybe some sort of music example.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to always slip jazz.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Jazz.
That's just because I like
Yeah.
it.
You like jazz?
Yeah, I do.
It works. Jazz. I think jazz music works for video.
Mhm.
It's upbeat. It's positive. Gets people's attention, kind of thing.
Mhm. So that's
Ah, mood board. I never thought about using a mood board before. That's interesting.
mood
But I
board.
like that idea. Again, you're showing versatility. You're just showing like, the client can say yes or no. It's like I don't
Yeah.
like that, or I like that, or whatever.
Yeah, too bright, too dark. Okay.
Mm,
And then you kind of get it. You're like, oh, if this is too dark, this is too bright. I kind of
interesting.
know what direction I need to take.
Yeah, yeah.
So
That's a good tip. I like that one.
yeah, oh, there you
That's a good one. Oh, hey, you
go.
never know.
But
People,
how do you find clients?
I messaged. I do research on Instagram, and if I like what they do, and I go on their Instagram and see what kind of stuff they make, and then I'll try to like tailor a pitch to like what they do, and kind of like reference like because most times people think it's just a bot DMing them on Instagram, so I
Yeah.
have to like make sure that I reference a specific post or a reel and say, hey, I really like this. Um, I'd be interested in like making stuff similar to what you've done. Would you be open to a quick, whatever, 5-minute chat or something?
Mhm.
And then you just kind of like play the numbers game and just see who responds. And it's a lot of follow up. It's a lot of being organized. There'll be a lot of like making sure who said what at what time. You don't want to confuse clients because that's embarrassing.
Mhm.
But that's from like my sales background where you're able to kind of keep like the sales funnel and just kind of keep things moving along.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and that's what I did during COVID. Just like a lot, just DMing people either on LinkedIn, Instagram, now
What's the
TikTok.
response rate, you think? Like just
Out of 10, I'll probably get like maybe three
that's pretty
responding.
good actually.
Yeah, I would say about three responding.
That's
And
good.
out of the three, maybe I get like one meeting or something.
Yeah.
So if you do 100, you get like 10, and then maybe
Mhm.
a couple close. So again, it's a grind because you're constantly trying to like pitch people, but I also try to like talk to people that I actually want to like work with too. I'm not like
Mhm.
messaging every single company in the universe. I just companies that like small business or like local sports stores or whatever. I message like local food banks, like people, like places that are trying to like make like a positive change,
Mhm.
like a positive difference, and just see what happens. And
Mhm.
again, it's timing, right? Like
It is, yeah.
it's all timing because
I
you can
think
email. Yeah, go ahead.
like in that sense, I had some success mostly pitching. When I'm pitching like free work, everybody bites, obviously. But like,
Yeah,
but we were really
yeah,
kind of looking to do this like a project.
yeah,
Me and like two, three other friends. Like every year we kind of were like, oh, let's kind of create something. And it was COVID, no,
yeah,
2021, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah. So, and we're like supposed to film with someone, but they canceled. But we were already kind of prepared to kind of go. And then I kind of just looked at Instagram and I found this. They kind of formed during COVID, and they were delivering medicine and food to people
Yeah.
that couldn't leave home.
Right.
So I kind of messaged them, and they were like super interested in kind of working with us. And then at the end, we kind of made like a short documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So that worked.
Yeah.
And I think we kind of like, it was nice because it was a good cause. It was local in Toronto,
Yeah.
and
You feel good.
yeah, like you
You feel good
make a
working with them.
difference. Yeah.
Yeah, you feel good.
Mhm.
It's true though. I think it's important to like kind of like shine a light on like the positive stuff too, because all you see on in the news is negative. So it's important to like kind of like showcase like the positives of like what's going on like around where you live, and people trying to like make like a difference, right? Because it's kind of easy to get sucked into like the negative news cycle. So
Mhm.
you can shed some light on like the good stuff. I
And
think
there's a lot of it around
there's
us.
a lot.
Yeah.
You just don't hear about it too much. Like it's kind of gets buried, you know, a little bit. So
Mhm.
um
Very true.
yeah. I think even working for free, like yeah, I mean, if you do it the right way, you can learn something, you can gain something too at the same time, you know. Depends on how you kind of go about it.
Mhm.
Um
I don't mind working for free, but I have my rules.
yeah.
Um, if it's a business, I am not doing free work.
Sure.
That's rule number one.
I gotta get paid too.
Yeah, and then rule number two, which I find it kind of, it's not so black and white,
Yeah.
is more if it propels me forward,
Right.
I'll do it for free.
Mm.
But if it doesn't do anything for me, then I'm not.
Right.
And then three would be like, if it's a really good cause, like
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
I do free work every year for sick kids. They have like
Right.
a fundraising event,
Got it.
and I go there and I take photos, and I've done it for like 6 years in a row.
Cool.
And I don't
Inside?
really.
Inside
Huh?
the hospital?
Yeah, so
Inside the
it's
hospital?
like it's a Fairchild
Yeah.
fundraising
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
This year I'm gonna miss it because it's next week, and
Right.
this is the first year I'm missing it. I'm kind of
Oh
sad.
no, who's gonna do it? They have someone else lined up to do it?
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to check.
Oh no.
Yeah. But that's kind of like, these, like if it's something good, I'll do it. If it's
Yeah.
not for business or profit.
Right. Yeah. No, it's tricky, but yeah, I think you mentioned if it kind of like moves your career forward, if you maybe it's a client that you're trying to work with or someone knows someone can put a
Mhm.
good word in for you, and you never know, right? But
Mhm.
usually people want to get paid though, because things
Mm,
cost money. My time
for
is
sure,
money.
yeah.
Yeah. You're not gonna ask a doctor to work for free, are you? Like it's like his time is money too.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, interesting, eh?
Yeah.
But
Yeah. And I think if you do too much free work, then
you're getting
you
no.
stop valuing your own work, and
Yeah.
then
You
all
gotta
of a
value your
sudden,
work. You gotta value your time.
yeah,
You
you
know.
do.
Even like when like pricing your work, like go higher than what you think, because usually we try to like put our prices lower, but in reality they should be higher.
Really, like when you actually kind of divide and
Yeah.
like calculate how much time you spend on a
Yeah.
certain thing,
Yeah.
you know, um, I'll give you an example,
Sure.
which is kind of funny. Like I forgot it what the price was, but like
Oh,
someone reached out to me from like the real estate. I think it was 2 years ago,
yeah.
and they had a huge house. Um, I don't know how many bedrooms. Like let's say 4 or 5 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, whatever. Like somewhere
Right.
in, let's say, North York or whatever.
Mm.
So they're like, oh yeah, can you do photos, and how much would it be? And I was like, yeah, I can do photos. And I knew, like, as soon as I said the price, I already knew what the response is going to be, because I said
Yeah.
it's going to be $300. And they were like, what? Never paid this much for
Are
this.
you
And I was
serious?
thinking, it takes me an hour to get there.
$100 is just gas, by the way.
Yeah, like it takes me an hour to get
Yeah.
there. It takes
Yeah.
me an hour to, or more, whatever,
Right.
to do the photos. It takes time
Oh,
to edit.
they flipped out over that?
Yeah, so he didn't go with it because There's a lot of real estate
That's the danger of people pricing their stuff
groups.
too
Yeah.
low, is because then people think that's the price when it's actually not the price. Because if people are pricing $100 for that job, and people think it's $100, when in reality it's probably at least $1,000, at least
Yeah. Yeah.
minimum.
Yeah.
Minimum.
So I think there's like certain industries that are very saturated. So
Yeah.
it's almost like not even worth
Right.
stepping into it.
Yeah. Interesting, eh?
Mm.
Pricing, always the tough one. Always a tough one.
It's very tough, and especially like people are like,
so what's your price? I love that question. So what's your price? I'm like, what do you want?
yeah,
What are you looking for?
especially with the video, like there's
Yeah.
a huge difference between me sitting down with someone, filming a talking head with one camera
Yeah.
for
Sure.
like 10 minutes,
Yeah.
and then just sending them the footage versus
Yeah.
an elaborate 5-day
Right.
shoot,
Right.
like with like 10 other
Right.
people or whatever.
Yeah. It's like, what's your price? Well, what do you want? Like, tell me what you want, then we'll figure out pricing. To me, it's all very customizable. Like,
It is, yeah.
what are you looking to do? And again, that's where it comes down to like listening and communicating with people and understanding what's involved. Because the worst part is like you're midway through the job and then you thought, oh man, that price is way too low.
Yeah,
That's the
that
worst feeling.
happens.
That's a bad feeling. But,
Because I think pricing is very complicated. Like, because when you start out, nobody wants to pay you, like obviously, because
Sure.
you're maybe not as good as
Right.
they want you to be.
Yeah.
So you kind of get used to that like low rate, or no rate, like working for free, whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
So then later, as you kind of gradually get the experience and you become good, like you forget that you also need to increase the price.
Yeah.
Or maybe you jump too high, and then like it's
Yeah.
kind of a weird
Yeah.
process, I would say.
Sure.
I way think different than like working in, I don't know, service industry, right? Like you know your value.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, unfortunately, this isn't like a fast food menu. I think honestly, like offering like packages, I think can help a lot. Where you have package 1, package 2, package 3, and they all include different things, and then
But everybody wants to go out of the package.
yeah,
I like
well,
this
that's package 4. That's
but
customized. Package 4 is customizable. We'll customize package 4 for you.
yeah.
Well, I think it just
But it's
helps
true.
out. I think it just helps out. Just it offers more of like a variety of stuff. Where it's just like, well, my price is $10,000, and that's it. It's kind of very final. Like it's very abrupt. Versus if you offer packages, so there's a little bit of leeway there. But I don't like giving pricing like at the start.
Oh no.
I first want to like talk with someone and understand. Like, first of all, are you serious? Is this like a serious project that you want to do? And then understand like, okay, do I like this person? Do I trust this person? Because it goes both ways too. Like it's at the end of the day, it's like a very like person. Like it's a person thing. Like person's gonna like you, trust you. It goes both ways. Client, content person, vice versa. Like everyone's gotta trust and like each other to some degree.
You need to have clients you like, right? Because you want to work with your clients, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah. Otherwise, it may become like a TikTok video or something. Worst clients to work with in Toronto, let me tell you. And then boom, imagine.
Oh man.
Yikes!
Right.
Yikes! Not good. Not a good TikTok to be on.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like working with clients, like you need to choose people you like to work with and that appreciate the work you do. I find that sometimes clients expect someone else's work through you, and at that point I think it's better to just like end it.
Yeah.
Because
100%.
that's just, you're never gonna.
Yeah, they want Steven Spielberg, but they hired me. Like, what do you think you're getting here? Well, we saw Jurassic Park, and well, congratulations, call up Steven. Yeah, no, it's very true. I think clients have this like, they have the idea in their head, they saw it, or maybe like their competitor did something and they want the exact same video, but for them, and
Mm.
do the exact same thing. Well, if you want the exact same thing, hire their video person.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, I'm not that person.
I think this is the hardest thing,
Yeah.
to emulate someone's
It's
else's
impossible.
work.
It's
Yeah,
impossible. It's impossible. You can't
you
do
mess
it.
up so
You
much. Yeah,
can't do it. You can't do it. It's like we're both trying to paint the same painting.
yeah,
Even if we're painting like a tree, my tree's gonna be different than your tree. It's
exactly.
impossible. I think, but clients have this like
This
idea that,
idea.
just because that person did it, you can do it too, right? It's happened to me a few times. I'm like, well, not really. I mean, I can do it this way, but
Yeah,
you kind of have to kind of like lay them down gently, because you don't want to say you're an idiot. Like, you don't know what you're talking about.
yeah,
They have this idea. It's like, well, that person can do it, you can do it. Crazy, crazy,
yeah.
crazy stuff. Yeah. But it's part of the game, right?
Mhm.
Part of the game. Well, what's one piece of advice you wish you knew when you started? Maybe there's a couple of pieces of advice. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, something that you wish you knew. Yeah, there's a lot there, I guess.
yeah. That, I think what you said earlier already, that you just have to do the work. And it's kind of funny because I knew the advice. It's just sometimes you don't know how to even approach it. You're like, oh,
Yeah,
I want to take photos, but I don't know how. Or like,
yeah.
I want to work with models, but I don't know where
Right,
to get models. So,
right.
there's like these barriers.
Sure.
But I think if you're focused on executing the work, like, let's
Yeah.
make the work, you'll find solutions to this
Barriers
problem.
go away.
Hmm.
The barriers disappear. Oh, totally.
Yeah. So I
Totally.
think that's probably the
Yeah.
best. Then also, like, to value myself,
Mm.
mm,
As a
as a
content
creator.
creator,
Yeah,
it's interesting,
that
right?
I do. Yeah, that I do good work, and that I'm like worth.
Imposter
worth
syndrome, right? You're talking about
yeah, it
imposter
is.
syndrome? Yeah, we all get it.
Yeah,
All it happens to the best of the best, guaranteed.
it does.
I think honestly, the more successful you are, I'm speaking in general terms, but the more successful someone is, I think it's always there. Like, I don't think it goes away.
I don't think so
I
either.
don't think it ever goes away. I think it's always there. You talk to like really famous bands, or like, and they say, yeah, I still get nervous before we go on stage. They've been together for 30 years, still get
Yeah.
nervous. Okay,
Isn't that's something that Oprah said, that like no
yeah,
matter who she interviewed, at the end
yeah,
when they kind of cut, they were like, "Oh, was I good?" Like,
yeah,
everybody was kind of like very self-conscious.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're always our own worst critic, though, right?
Yeah, we are.
We always are, because we always focus on like what we could have done better or whatever, but we don't really zoom out and see the big picture and say, no, that's actually pretty good.
Mhm.
Right, that's actually pretty good. But yeah, I was gonna ask you about it, like imposter syndrome, because I think yeah, I think it's good that you said that you want to like value yourself as a content creator, because I think it's an important message these days.
I think it's so easy to compare yourself to
Of course,
others,
yeah, of
and
course,
then feel like you're not good enough. And I think
yeah,
I used to do that.
right,
And like, it's very um, hmm, demotivating, to say the
sure.
least, when you
Oh
when
yeah,
you look at things like that.
it's crushing.
Yeah. And then I kind of shifted my view of things.
Mm,
Um, so I'm kind of looking for inspiration more than comparison,
right.
because I realized that I'm never going to be everything, and I
Yeah,
think you kind of have to go through that as you're like growing as a
yeah,
person, and just like maturing and getting like wiser,
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
you
yeah,
can't do everything, and that especially like people around you are can be your biggest inspiration.
yeah,
Just because you know them, you can see how they do things,
yeah,
um, and it can maybe like show you the way, in some way.
Yeah. Learn from them versus like compare, you mean?
Yeah, learn from them,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially like if it's a person that a person you're comparing yourself to that you actually know and you speak to,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
that's so great. That's like someone that does great work that
It's a good thing.
inspires you, and you can talk to them and
Yeah,
ask them stuff. Like, isn't that great?
that's great.
Like, always, yeah.
Yeah. But the funny thing is that people are probably looking up to you and thinking the same thing. It's like, I can't be as good as Nika. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah,
the same
I
thing's
know.
happening the other way too.
Yeah,
And it's like, just send me a message. I'll help you out.
yeah,
what's
it's
the
true.
big deal?
Yeah,
But people are thinking the same thing about you, and you're thinking the same thing about other people. It's this like
yeah,
weird cycle that we all go through, and it's like we're just kind of like we're all trying to like tread water, you know. But
yeah, it's true. Instead of like kind of supporting each other and
yeah,
sharing,
it's a
or like
it's like
in our own cocoon.
yeah, I think it's important to like surround yourself with like the right people and be able to like give feedback and give like props and say, hey, I really like what you did. But
Mhm.
everyone's so busy just scrolling and no one's even looking. They're just
Yeah,
like scrolling. Like there's no one's really like taking the time to actually like look,
yeah,
because
and
there's just a
think.
constant. It's hard. That's why
So
they just.
addictive. Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like it's hard to kind of like say, hey, I really liked I really liked what you did with the tennis short film. I like that. I like
Mhm.
that sequence. But no one does that because everyone's just constantly like, okay, on to the next thing, on to the next thing. I don't
Yeah,
think it's gonna get any better. It's gonna get even worse probably. So I
it's
don't know
gonna
how
get
to,
worse. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
but
I
that's
don't
why I
know.
think like long form content is good. Like,
Sure.
let's say podcasts or
Yeah,
even kind of longer YouTube videos or stuff like
yeah,
that. I
of
know
course.
people have less and less attention span to like sit through it,
Yeah.
but at least the people involved like take time and kind of learn from each other.
Well,
Um,
that's what you want, right? I think people want the long form.
mhm,
I think people want it. I think it's a matter of how you like present it. Like, can you present it in a way that's like interesting and kind of captures that person's interest, right? Not easy to do, but I think if it's done right, then yeah, you can definitely get someone for like 10 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever.
mhm.
People watch movies for 2 hours. Mind
I
you,
know.
they're probably still on their phone when they're watching the movie, but
Yeah, people
you
do
know
that.
what I mean? But I think definitely
Crazy.
long form is. I don't think long form is going away.
It's not.
I don't think so.
I hope not.
No, I think people want that like connection with people.
Hmm. I was actually just thinking about it
Mhm.
uh, today. I kind of
Yeah,
signed up for like some newsletter the other day,
nice.
and I
Okay.
got a long kind of story in my inbox, and I was like, oh, that kind of takes me back to like the blog days.
Yeah, shout
And I
out
was like, oh, it's
MySpace.
actually kind of nice.
A blog with a B? What do you mean by that? It's a
Yeah,
written
I know.
thing?
Crazy.
A blog with a B?
Yeah,
Bring blogs back.
I know. I think, and I was thinking about it, and I was like, oh, there's like not many people that actually sit down and take time to write
Yeah,
that like long form,
people write
whatever.
it. No.
Yeah, you have to write
Or
it
is
and
it
you
AI?
have to
Or is
read
it
it.
AI?
Maybe, yeah.
You never know. Just put it in Chat GPT. 2 seconds.
Yeah,
You gotta be careful these days.
but the experience was there.
The experience was there. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Well, people still read books,
Yeah, I
so
like to
that's
read
long. That's
actually.
long form content.
It is.
So,
I think books are a great way to calm your mind
mm, it's a great
and
way
to
to
be
like.
inspired and stuff.
It's a great way to It's kind of good way to like cut the cord
Hmm.
and get away from the screens, right?
And I don't think you can ever get the same information in
No way.
with
Impossible.
listening to the book.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not an audiobook person. I need the actual book.
Yeah, I do. I read actual books
Yeah, the
less
actual
than
book.
listen to them, but I know
Yeah,
that when I listen to the book, I get
yeah,
like 10%. I don't know, like way less out of them.
yeah.
Hmm.
What's a good book you read this year?
So I am currently reading Pema Chodron
Yeah.
Start With Now.
Okay. Good.
So she's like a Buddhist nun.
Cool.
So yeah, I
Good.
like her. Yeah. It's like it's lessons for life, like just
Cool.
how to exist.
Oh
Uh,
man, it's an easy read.
it's a it's a very very mundane. Well, not
Yeah,
mundane. I can't say mundane. Very
I like it.
basic instructions for life, I guess.
Really. Cool. I'm always on the hunt for new books.
Yeah. What's a book you like?
I just read the guy that co-founded Netflix. I read his book, how Netflix started.
Oh, okay.
And his whole thing, his basic premise of the book is that nobody knows anything.
Uh-huh.
His basic message of the book is nobody knows anything because people told Netflix would never work. Obviously, they were wrong. So he's saying that nobody knows anything. Just keep going because you never know. And his other message was to always have bad ideas because out of the bad ideas, there's going to be one good idea.
Mhm.
Those are like the
Okay.
two messages,
Yeah,
So I'm like, yeah, that kind of makes sense, I guess. You know,
it
yeah.
does. Like because I think when you're younger, you think, oh my God, all these adults, they know everything,
No,
and then you're an
no,
adult and
you
you're
don't
like
know.
still the same.
No, it's probably gets even worse, maybe.
Yeah.
But I like reading like books about how people like make things, and like I've read Rick Rubin's book, The
Mhm.
Creative Act. I don't know if you read that book, but it's
I haven't
good.
read it yet. I'd like to.
Recommend that.
Yeah.
That's a really easy read, good read. But I like books about like creativity, people that make things or like come up with ideas or like just kind of like sharing like their story about like how things came to be because
Hmm.
I think it's kind of interesting, like taking a peek behind the curtain and
Yeah,
seeing
I
how
like that
things.
too. What's that
Yeah.
guy? Oh, he wrote that book about like stealing.
Oh yeah, Stephen Pressfield.
Oh, no, what was it? I can't. No, I can't remember.
Stealing what? What are we stealing?
Like how like everybody's stealing other people's creative work.
Oh,
Uh,
oh
what's his
yeah.
name? Yeah, I
She's
don't
talking
know.
about like steal like an artist.
Yeah, still like an artist. Yeah,
Yeah, I read that book too. Good read.
yeah, that's a good one actually.
Yeah, Austin Kleon. Austin
That's right.
Kleon, I think is the author's name.
Yeah, I'm so bad with
Yeah,
that.
him, Stephen Pressfield. The War of Art is another good book. If you haven't read that, The War
I
of
have
Art.
not, but yeah.
That's another good one that you should read. Really, you can read that in like 2 days. Very easy read.
Uh,
But books like that, I think it's super cool because I think, like you said, we're all just trying to figure this out. Like there is no like magic bullet, especially in like the content space or like the artistic space. Like it's a constant evolution of like just trying to figure things out because like things are changing so quickly. Like,
mhm. What do you think about AI and
I think it's good if it's. I don't think it's gonna take away people's jobs in like the art world. Like, I don't. I think people are still gonna want the artist. Like
Mhm,
in terms of like making videos, to me, it's like they're still gonna want the person on set. I think AI is gonna help out with a lot of like in the editing.
mhm,
Like I use it now. Like it helps with editing, helps with audio, it helps with light, like it helps with like coloring, like.
mhm,
But I think to get the actual content, the actual thing,
mhm.
I think there's like people are still going to have to get hired. Like I don't know.
Mhm.
I
I
could be
think
wrong, but
VFX.
I don't think it's going to go. I don't think it's take away people's jobs.
Mhm. I think VFX are gonna
Yeah.
go
Go.
unless you're it'll just kind of like optimize their work because I know that
Well,
VFX is really such a hard industry to work in.
yeah.
So maybe it'll just make their life easier.
I I would think so. Because to me, it's like you're still going to want the human element in like the edit.
Hmm.
Because like to me, it's like AI can't give you a human experience.
Yeah,
You
it's
know what I
true
mean?
actually.
Like the edit is like critical to like what you're trying to do. So
Yeah.
if it feels very like robotic in like the edit, then I think it's gonna feel robotic in like the actual final piece. It's like, well, that didn't make any sense because they cut out the entire person's dialogue. But that's just what AI thought it should do. I don't know. It's going to be
Yeah.
really
We'll
interesting. I mean,
see.
I guess that's why. Like Hollywood went on strike last year, right? Because they're trying to
Yeah.
protect that stuff, which I totally agree with. I mean, like,
Mm. I think there's opportunities in it.
I think
Like I
it's going to
think it's
help.
like a different art form too in itself.
I think it's going to
I
help.
love it when AI messes up. When there's like a person with
Yeah.
4 legs and
Yeah.
stuff.
I
Those are my
know.
favorite.
It's fun, right? It's like, well,
It's so
it's
fun.
this part of the film now, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think people are just going to always want like the human element to it.
hmm
I don't know. That's just me. But we're going to see
I
what
think there
happens, I
will
guess.
be, yeah, there will be some need for humanity. Um,
Yeah. It's crazy how fast it came though. Like 2 years ago, this wasn't even a thing, and now it's like AI is on every app I have right now.
mhm. Yeah,
Like what's
it's pretty
happening?
good.
Like what's happening? Um,
We'll see.
there's always going to be demand for people though, I think.
Mhm.
Artists, right? Artists.
Artists. I think
That's
the one thing that AI can't do is create new ideas. It can generate
yeah,
work out
of
of
course.
all the ideas that
Yeah,
exist.
of course.
So I guess maybe we'll
Yeah.
be ideas
Yeah.
generators or something.
We're the idea generators. That's the new title. Idea
Yeah,
generator. That's very true though. Yeah. That's gonna be interesting. Um, well, we're up against the hour, so I just don't want to take too much of your time. So I just want to say thanks for coming
yeah.
on.
Thank you for having
Hopefully you
me.
enjoy this thing.
Yeah, that was nice. I don't
Love
know.
love to have
I
you back
hope
on.
yeah, I hope I provided some
Yeah,
some
you
conversation.
crushed it. Yeah, you did a good job. Did you want to leave people final words or advice?
Advice, just enjoy every day.
No,
Like
very Buddhist.
yeah, it is actually. If you enjoy doing work, do work.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't enjoy your work, find something that you enjoy
Mm,
doing because that will make your life much more fun.
yeah, very true, eh? Never settle.
Yeah, never settle. Like
Never
always
settle.
grow.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Keep.
growth is definitely one of my sort of driving forces. I don't ever want to stop changing
No,
and growing and
no.
evolving.
Yeah, you'll crush it.
There, I'll pitch to WTA.
You better. You better. Hope you'll get it too. You'll get it. You'll get it for sure.
Thank you.
Well, thanks, Nika, for coming on. I'd love to have you back on. Enjoy your trip to Turkey, by the way.
I will. Thank you.
Look forward to the content there. It'll be a lot of
Yeah.
fun. And everyone, thanks for watching, listening, wherever this thing is. And check out Nika. Links are in the description of this podcast. And we shall see you next time. Have a great evening.
Thank you so much.